Hey, what's up? Welcome to English with Dane, a podcast designed to improve your English. As always, I'm your host, Dane, and you can find me on Instagram at English with Dane. Today's episode is about a couple of news stories from around the world, but not just regular news stories, strange news stories. We'll read through them together, and it will be a great opportunity to work on some new vocabulary, as well as to have a good time learning about some crazy things that went down over the past few weeks. All right, let's start the show. You are listening to the second episode of Season 2 of English with Dane. Hit it. All right, let's get right into strange news. Our first story ocurrió, in Florida on the 22nd of January, and the headline reads, Falling iguana alert issued in Florida due to cold temperatures. And the sub-headline says, Don't assume that they're dead. Let's find out more because, come on, we have to. What a bizarre headline. It continues and says, We are not making this up. The National Weather Service in Miami has issued an unofficial warning for falling iguanas on Tuesday night due to, debido a, the unusual cold wave that's hit the Sunshine State. That's another way to refer to Florida, by the way, the Sunshine State. It continues and says, This isn't something we usually forecast, but don't be surprised if you see iguanas falling from the trees tonight as temperatures drop into the 30s and 40s, the Weather Service tweeted. A quick vocabulary check. The word is forecast, spelled F-O-R-E-C-A-S-T. Normally used as a noun, a forecast is a prediction or a calculation regarding the weather. In this case, it's used as a verb meaning to predict or estimate. It continues and says, Iguanas are cold-blooded. They slow down or become immobile when temperatures drop into the 40s. They may fall from trees, but they are not dead, the Weather Service said. Once temperatures reach a certain level, iguanas stiffen up and fall out of trees, according to Chris Michaels, who is a meteorologist from Roanoke, Virginia, who said this is something that has been observed over the years in South Florida. At about 50 degrees, iguanas can become lethargic, so slow, Michael said. It's when the temperature drops to about 40 degrees or lower that their blood doesn't move around as quickly. As a result, they can stiffen up and fall out of the trees in which they frequent. All right, another quick vocabulary check. There was a good phrasal verb in there, to stiffen up, spelled S-T-I-F-F-E-N, and then up, U-P. To become stiff means to become suddenly tense, okay, or rigid. The sentence was, once temperatures reach a certain level, iguanas stiffen up and fall out of trees. All right, let's keep going. During a similar cold wave and iguana warning 2 years ago, residents finding stiffened iguanas were advised, fueron aconsejados, to leave them alone, as they may feel threatened, amenazadas, and bite once they warm up. Another phrasal verb, warm up, calentar. Apparently, green iguanas are an invasive species in Florida, and they're known for eating through landscaping, gardens, and digging burrows that undermine infrastructure. So iguanas are a pest, right? A problem in Florida. They ruin infrastructure by digging burrows. Burrows are like holes where animals live. This week's cold front should be short, the Weather Service said, as temperatures are forecast to rebound into the mid-70s in Miami by Thursday. That's Fahrenheit, of course. Mid-70s in Celsius is around 23 or 24 degrees. All right, that story was from USA Today, by the way. Iguanas falling from trees. That's not one that I was expecting to come across or find when I was compiling these. All right, but no more iguanas falling. Here's the next one. For this one, we go all the way to New Zealand, and the headline reads, Stolen Northland therapy goat found reunited with depressed cow. Yes, a therapy goat, una cabra. A pet therapy goat who went missing from a property in Northland in December is now safely back home. Peaches the goat formed an unlikely friendship with a depressed pet cow belonging to the Mount Katuroto Hotel. The cow, named Bunter, was left lonely after the death of a fellow cow some months before. In December, hotel caretaker Joe Robin told the reporter that Peaches was introduced to Bunter in an effort to lift the cow's spirits. To lift someone's spirits means to try to make them happy. Then it says, after Rosie passed away, that was the other cow, Bunter got really depressed and we heard that goats were good therapy, and there was a lady who was willing to gift Peaches to us, said Robin. As soon as Peaches arrived in the paddock, Bunter was a different cow, running around everywhere. Bunter also started eating again after the arrival of the goat. However, the friendship was short-lived after Peaches was stolen. On Tuesday, though, Robin told the reporter there was a happy ending, with Peaches being spotted or seen among, entre, a group of goats on a local property. One in particular was alone and was a lot whiter than the rest, said Robin. We watch a lot of CI, that's crime and investigation, so we did our own investigating. She said local police looked into the matter, el asunto, and Peaches was soon on her way home to Bunter. Another good phrasal verb there, to look into something. To look into something is another way to say to investigate something, right? To do your research. So the police looked into it. The police issued a statement saying they had investigated a burglary at the hotel property after someone got the owner's goat. Police didn't kid around or joke around, right? No estaban bromeando, and got a hold of CCTV footage and spoke with a number of people. As a result of this work, Peaches, the goat, was located at a nearby property and was returned just before Christmas. Police said at this stage no further action was being taken, which Peaches' owner was happy with. Nice. So Peaches the goat and Bunter the cow were reunited and were able to keep spending time together. What a ridiculous story, but a nice one, I guess. To kid around means to joke around, okay? And a burglary is the illegal entry of a building with intent to commit a crime, especially theft. A quick vocab check. The difference between a robbery and a burglary, by the way, is that when a robbery happens or occurs, someone is taking something from someone, usually by using intimidation or force. But with burglary, they are specifically entering a property, like a house, with the intention of stealing things. My students usually get those confused, so I thought I would clear that up. So we got a lot of good vocabulary from those two strange news stories. Let's do a quick recap before moving on. The vocabulary we looked at from the first story was to forecast, right, which means to predict or to estimate. In this case, it had to do, tenía que ver, with the weather, but you can forecast many things like trends in a market, for example. The next one was to stiffen up, which means to suddenly become rigid. In the article, this phrasal verb was used to talk about the iguanas suddenly becoming rigid due to the cold temperatures. So they stiffened up. And finally, we talked about the word burrow, which is a hole or tunnel dug by animals, right? Small animals usually, as a dwelling or a home. From the second story, we have the expression to lift someone's spirits, which means to try and cheer someone up, to make someone happy, although in this case, it was to make a cow happy. Then we had the phrasal verb to look into something, which means to investigate a matter, to do some research about something. And then we had the phrasal verb to kid around or to joke around, which means to behave, comportarse, in a silly way. In this case, they said that the policemen weren't kidding around. So in other words, they were serious. And finally, we have burglary, the act of breaking in or entering someone's house or property without permission with the intent of stealing something. Not to be confused with robbery, which tends to be, que suele ser, on the street or somewhere else, and usually by means, por medio, of intimidation or force. If you find it hard to remember these words, I can put them up on Instagram or something like that. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. Or if you prefer, write to me and I'll send you the full transcript of the episode. No strings attached. All right, that's the show for today. I know maybe it's a short one, but I'm putting out another episode at the same time. The other episode that's coming out right now is a special one where I talk about the tragedy that took place on Sunday regarding Kobe Bryant. It'll be a quick one too, but I felt like it was necessary to pay tribute after how much he meant to me. All right, as always, thanks for listening, and I hope you got something from this episode. If you want to get in touch and ask me anything or give me some suggestions for the show, you can find me on Instagram at English with Dane. And if you're not into social media, shoot me an email at englishwithdane@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to the show. The best way to support English with Dane is to give it a 5-star rating and, of course, sharing it with friends, family, or anyone who you think would enjoy it. All right, talk soon. Bye-bye.